You are tired. Tired of being told to hustle harder. Tired of playing the endless game of effort without reward. Tired of carrying the weight of other people's expectations like chains strapped across your back. And still, despite all your labor, society looks at you with suspicion. It brands you lazy. It mocks your refusal to grind endlessly like a beast of burden. Yet beneath that mask of judgment, there is fear. They do not despise you because you are weak. They despise you because you are dangerous. You are a lazy genius. And society fears you. Do not confuse their disdain for casual dismissal. Their hatred is a strategic defense. When people call you lazy, they are trying to neutralize you before you become a threat, because they sense something you do not yet fully grasp. They sense that while others burn themselves alive with endless effort, you conserve your energy. While others sprint blindly into the battlefield, you wait, you watch, you calculate, and that terrifies them. Society worships sweat. It idolizes effort, busyness, the spectacle of exhaustion. It has convinced the herd that value comes only from endless motion. But Machiavelli understood the truth. Raw effort is a poor substitute for strategy. Armies that march until their legs collapse lose to armies that strike once with precision. Kings who waste their strength on constant campaigns fall to those who choose their battles with patience. Your so-called laziness hides a dangerous weapon, the ability to do less and achieve more. That is why society fears you. You have been conditioned to believe that your reluctance to grind is a flaw, that your resistance to endless struggle is weakness. But what if it is not? What if it is the instinct of a strategist, hidden under the shame they have drilled into you? What if your so-called laziness is the very thing that separates you from the expendable masses? Machiavelli would tell you, the appearance of vice can be more powerful than virtue, if you know how to wield it. And you, without even realizing, have carried the mask of laziness as your first weapon. But let us strip the illusions away. You are not here to be comforted. You are here to be confronted. You call yourself a genius, yet you bury your ideas under hesitation. You know the inefficiency of the herd, yet you still obey their rhythms. You despise the grind, yet you secretly fear what it would mean to step outside it. You are trapped not by laziness, but by cowardice. The truth is brutal. Society does not only fear you, it has you on a leash. It laughs at you for being idle, while it profits from your compliance. It weaponizes your hesitation against you. This is how power operates. Power does not need to destroy you. It only needs to distract you. It keeps you locked in cycles of shame and guilt, convincing you that you are broken for not fitting into the machine. And while you wrestle with that shame, the machine marches on, harvesting your silence, your passivity, your hidden brilliance that never sees the battlefield. Machiavelli would recognize this at once. The rulers do not waste energy crushing every threat. They smother potential before it ever takes shape. They keep the genius convinced of his own impotence until he dies, whispering about what he might have done. You are not lazy. You are efficient. You see through the absurd rituals of forced effort. You know that 90% of what people do is waste. Endless meetings, pointless tasks, mindless repetition. You see the stupidity of it, and you refuse to participate. That is genius. But genius without discipline is a broken sword, a weapon rusting in its sheath. And that is why you are feared, not because you are powerful now, but because you could be. Because the day you sharpen that weapon, the battlefield will shift. Think of war. The reckless soldier charges first. His body becomes a shield for others. His blood buys them time. The disciplined strategist holds back. He studies the terrain, the enemy's supply lines, the weak points in their chain of command. When he finally moves, it is not with wasted fury, but with surgical force. You are meant to be that strategist, but right now, You play the role of the distracted soldier, charging nowhere, retreating into excuses, calling your fear laziness when it is simply surrender. Society fears the lazy genius because once awakened, you are unstoppable. You will not fight on their terms. You will not exhaust yourself in their endless labor camps. You will conserve energy like a predator, conserving muscle for the perfect kill. You will disrupt the entire economy of effort they have built, showing others that victory belongs not to the exhausted, but to the efficient. And the herd, once it sees you, will begin to question its own servitude. That is why they attack you. That is why they shame you. That is why they must break you before you break the pattern. Niccolò Machiavelli once warned that rulers must keep their subjects occupied with illusions of purpose. The church, with its rituals, the merchants with their endless trade, the state with its wars. Idle minds are dangerous minds. Idle geniuses, even more so. Because when you are not distracted by constant labor, you begin to see. You begin to notice the cracks in the fortress walls. You begin to recognize that the guards are poorly supplied, the chain of command corrupt, the propaganda weak, and once you see, you cannot unsee. That is why they need you exhausted, ashamed, obedient. That is why society fears your so-called laziness. But what have you done with this power? Have you sharpened it? Have you disciplined it? Or have you drowned it in excuses? You call yourself misunderstood, but the truth is harsher. You are complicit in your own suffocation. You wait for permission to act. You hide behind the mask of laziness as if it were protection, when it is only camouflage. The enemy already knows you are there. They already fear you, but they do not respect you. Respect is earned through decisive movement, not potential. Here is the brutal reality. If you continue as you are, your genius will rot. You will become a cautionary tale told by others. They were brilliant, but too lazy. And that judgment will not be false. It will be the truth you allowed. Society fears you only while you are dormant. Once you are permanently passive, you are no longer feared. You are dismissed. That is the cost of your hesitation. That is the battlefield you are already losing. So what is the strategy? What is the cold, clear path out of this trap? You must reframe your laziness as tactical patience. You must turn passivity into reconnaissance. You must stop fighting pointless skirmishes and begin studying the war itself. Every ounce of your energy must be conserved for moves that shift the balance of power. That is what Machiavellian strategy dictates. Do not waste your life sprinting on their treadmill. Break the treadmill. Step off. Map the battlefield. Strike only where it counts. Your transformation will not come from motivational speeches or healing rituals. It will come from adopting the discipline of a general. Set your priorities as supply lines. Cut off what drains you. Fortify what sustains you. Identify the enemies within your excuses, your distractions, your cowardice, and execute them without mercy. This is not about being happy. It is about being effective. Machiavelli never promised peace. He promised survival to those who understood power. And if you want to live as more than a pawn, you must learn his lesson. Society fears the lazy genius because you remind them that the rules are lies. You are proof that brilliance does not need exhaustion, that results do not require chains. But unless you take command of yourself, you will remain proof of nothing. You will remain another wasted strategist, a commander who never left the tent, a weapon that never fired. That is the real tragedy. That is the fate you are walking toward. And here is where the confrontation becomes final. You cannot remain neutral. You cannot keep pretending you have time. You are already at war, whether you admit it or not. Every day you submit to the herd's rituals. You lose ground. Every day you drown in excuses. Your supply lines shrink. Every day you call your fear laziness. The enemy tightens its grip. The choice is stark, and there is no middle ground. Continue as you are, and you will be buried with the rest of the expendable. Uravaken, seize discipline, and turn your supposed weakness into the sharpest weapon you have ever wielded. Machiavelli's dark lesson is this: society fears the lazy genius because once you decide to act, you will not just change yourself, you will change the battlefield. You will destabilize the economy of exhaustion. You will expose the lie of endless effort. And in doing so, you will terrify those who profit from the herd. But until that moment, you are harmless. Until that moment, you are a prisoner of your own hesitation. So choose, will you remain a pawn shackled by shame? Or will you rise as the strategist who makes the world itself tremble? You have been told that your problem is procrastination, that you must cure it with endless productivity systems, with to-do lists, with alarms and motivational hacks. But hear this: procrastination is not your problem. Your problem is direction. You do not procrastinate because you are lazy. You procrastinate because deep down you know most of the tasks in front of you are meaningless. You resist them not out of weakness, but out of clarity. You see that 90% of human activity is smoke with no fire. You hesitate not because you lack drive, but because your mind senses the futility of running toward nothing. This is not laziness. This is instinct. And society fears that instinct. The rulers want obedient workers, not dangerous thinkers. They want you to keep moving, even if you are moving in circles. They want you exhausted, because exhaustion breeds compliance. If you are tired, you do not question. If you are drained, you do not rebel. Machiavelli understood this principle well. Keep the people busy with rituals, with labor, with spectacles, and they will not have the energy to turn their eyes toward the throne. Your so-called laziness is the opposite of this trap. It is the silence between the drums. It is the moment when you refuse to dance to their rhythm. And that silence is dangerous. But let us strike deeper. Do not mistake this instinct for power itself. Power comes only when you weaponize it. Right now, your instinct is wasted. You sense the futility of meaningless struggle, yet you have not replaced it with decisive action. You sit in a neutral zone, despising the herd, but not commanding yourself. You are like an army that refuses to march, but also refuses to strike. In war, such armies are crushed from both sides. Your hesitation is your vulnerability. Society labels you lazy to shame you back into obedience. But the truth is sharper. You are not lazy. You are undisciplined. You have the clarity to see the battlefield, but you lack the cold will to move upon it. And so, your genius corrodes inside you. A fortress unguarded, a blade unsharpened. You must understand, genius without discipline is not power. It is poison. It eats you alive from within, filling your head with fantasies of potential that will never materialize. And that is the most pathetic fate of all, to die full of ideas, but empty of victories. This is why society fears you, and also why it laughs at you. Because they see the contradiction. They know you are dangerous if awakened. They also know most lazy geniuses never awaken. They waste their lives telling themselves they could have won the war, had they chosen to fight. But history does not remember potential. History remembers only those who act. You must decide which side you belong to. Look around you. The battlefield is everywhere. At work, in relationships, in politics, in culture. Everyone is fighting for power, even those who pretend not to be. The grind-obsessed worker is not noble. He is desperate, clawing for relevance. The politician who pretends to serve is not selfless. He is securing his position. The friend who drains your time is not innocent. They are feeding on your energy. Every human interaction is a strategic operation, and you, the lazy genius, have been pretending you are outside of it. You are not. You are already a combatant. The only question is whether you fight consciously or remain a casualty. Machiavelli's dark lesson is simple. The strong do not fear effort. They fear clarity. They fear the individual who can see through the fog of war and choose the exact moment to strike. You are that individual, but you are asleep. They would rather you waste your brilliance in idleness than sharpen it into strategy. Because the moment you awaken, you do not need to fight all their battles. You only need to fight one, the right one. And that is enough to topple their entire illusion. Do not comfort yourself with the lie that you are above the herd. You are not above them until you can command yourself. And right now, you cannot. You indulge in hesitation. You drown in distraction. You retreat into fantasies of what you could do. That is not strategy. That is cowardice wrapped in intellect. And unless you kill it, it will bury you. So what must you do? You must learn discipline not as a virtue, but as a weapon. Discipline is not about becoming a better person. It is about becoming a sharper blade. It is about cutting away everything that wastes your energy so that when you strike with lethal force. You must treat your time as supply lines. Every leak must be sealed. Every resource must be accounted for. Every move must serve the campaign. Anything else is treason against yourself. Stop calling yourself lazy. Call yourself undisciplined and feel the shame of it. Shame can be useful if it becomes fuel. Do not run from it. Use it. Channel it into ruthless efficiency. Set strict boundaries. Cut alliances that weaken you. Eliminate rituals that numb you. Become brutal with yourself, not emotional. Tactical. Imagine yourself as a commander punishing a soldier who fails to obey. You are both commander and soldier. Your life depends on whether you enforce your own orders. Understand this. You cannot negotiate with weakness. You cannot comfort it. You must execute it. Weakness is the spy within your walls, the traitor who opens the gate at night, and you have been feeding it. Every day you indulge in distraction. Every time you justify hesitation, you strengthen the spy. Machiavelli would tell you, kill the traitor first, then fortify the walls. Society fears you because once you master yourself, you become unpredictable. You will not obey their rituals. You will not chase their illusions. You will not sell your life for their approval. You will move only when it serves you. You will fight only when victory is possible. And when you strike, it will not be with wasted fury, but with surgical precision. That is the genius they cannot control. That is the threat they whisper about but cannot name. And you must decide if you will become that threat or remain a forgotten pawn, because the window is closing. Every day you hesitate, your power decays. Every year you wait, your genius rusts. The war is happening with or without you. And if you continue to watch from the sidelines, the world will pass you by. And history will bury your name under the corpses of wasted potential. The time for illusions is over. You are not a victim of laziness. You are a commander, refusing to take command. And that refusal is your greatest crime. But crimes can be redeemed with decisive action. Choose your target. Strip away distractions. Conserve your energy for one lethal strike. That is the Machiavellian path. That is the dark lesson society prays you never learn. Do you understand the danger of being half awake? It is worse than sleep. When you are asleep, you are harmless. When you are fully awake, you are dangerous. But when you are half awake, you are confused, unfocused, vulnerable. You think you see, but your vision is blurred. You sense your power, but you cannot wield it. And this half state is where you live. It is where society wants you to stay. Because a half-awake genius is not a threat, He is a torment to himself. You live surrounded by distractions, masquerading as purpose. Endless content, endless chatter, endless noise. Every second, you surrender to it. Your supply lines shrink. You waste your focus on trivial skirmishes while the real war rages unseen. You scroll while the rulers build fortresses. You argue while they draw maps. You consume while they conquer. This is not accidental. It is psychological warfare. And you, the supposed genius, have fallen into the trap with barely a fight. Machiavelli understood that keeping the people entertained was as powerful as keeping them fed. A hungry man rebels. An entertained man complies. Your laziness should have made you immune. You should have refused the spectacle, but you have been lulled into watching battles that are not yours, victories that are not yours, lives that are not yours. Your brilliance is rotting in the stands while others march across the field, and the rulers watch, satisfied, because you have done their work for them. You call yourself different. You call yourself smarter. But intelligence without application is nothing. You are like a general who spends years designing strategies he never uses. You are like a swordsmith who crafts blades that never taste battle. Do not mistake preparation for conquest. The world does not fear your thoughts. It fears your action. Until then, your genius is nothing more than potential energy, useless, invisible, wasted. This is the real battlefield. Control of your time, control of your focus, control of your energy. Society has already seized it. You think your time is your own, but it is not. It has been taken, drained by meaningless work, stolen by constant noise, corrupted by weakness disguised as comfort. Every hour you lose is a soldier deserting your ranks. And soon, you will stand alone, an army reduced to one, too weak to fight, too tired to resist, but you can take it back. If you have the coldness to act, if you have the brutality to cut away what weakens you, you must declare war on your distractions. Treat them as enemy supply lines. Cut them, burn them, leave nothing that feeds your weakness alive. This is not a game. This is survival. The man who controls his attention controls his world. You have surrendered yours. You must reclaim it or be powerless. Do not imagine you will be loved for this. You will be hated, because the moment you take control, you expose the weakness of those around you. You will make them uncomfortable. Your efficiency will shame their waste. Your discipline will confront their excuses. They will attack you. They will call you arrogant, selfish, ruthless. Let them. Machiavelli would tell you, it is better to be feared than loved when love makes you weak. Society fears the lazy genius because you are proof that power does not require constant exhaustion. You are proof that one sharp move can shatter 1,000 wasted ones. But if you embrace this truth, they will not celebrate you. They will brand you dangerous. They will whisper behind your back. They will try to isolate you. Why? Because your presence alone destabilizes their fragile illusions. You show them that their sweat has been wasted, that their servitude was a choice, and nothing terrifies the herd more than realizing they were slaves by consent. You cannot save them. Do not try. This is another trap. The genius who wastes himself trying to wake the herd will be trampled by it. Your duty is not to save the world. Your duty is to seize your place in it, to claim power where others see chaos, to turn laziness into clarity, clarity into discipline, discipline into victory. That is your path. Anything else is betrayal of yourself. You fear being ruthless. You fear being cold. But look at the world. It is already ruthless. It is already cold. Power is not sentimental. Influence is not merciful. The battlefield does not weep for the fallen. It simply buries them. You must decide, will you be buried? Or will you command? Every hesitation is a crack in your armor. Every excuse is an open gate in your fortress. Every indulgence is a supply line feeding the enemy. And yet you tolerate them. You protect them. You say, "I will change tomorrow." But tomorrow is a lie. Tomorrow is the battlefield's most lethal trap. You only have now. Either strike now, or watch yourself rot in the comfort of waiting. Society fears the lazy genius, not because you will destroy it with noise, but because you could destroy it with silence, with patience, with precision. One decisive strike from you could unravel the illusions that keep billions obedient. But that strike will never come if you remain paralyzed. That strike requires sacrifice. You must sacrifice comfort. You must sacrifice illusion. You must sacrifice the fantasy of being loved for who you are. You will not be loved. You will be feared, and that is enough. Machiavelli's dark lesson is this: the world is a battlefield of perception. Appearances matter more than truth. Right now, you appear weak. You appear lazy. You appear harmless. That is why you remain ignored. Change your appearance. Change your posture. Let them see your discipline. Let them feel your efficiency. Let them whisper that you are dangerous. This is not vanity. It is psychological warfare. The moment they perceive you as powerful, half the war is won. You must stop clinging to the illusion of fairness. Life is not fair. War is not fair. Power is not fair. The herd is fed lies about fairness to keep them calm. But you are no longer part of the herd. Your task is not to seek fairness, but to exploit advantage. To recognize that the battlefield rewards not the hardest worker, but the most ruthless strategist. Stop envying their sweat. Start preparing your strike. Society will continue to mock you, to brand you lazy, to shame you. Let them. Use it as camouflage. Pretend to be what they call you, until the day you are ready to act. And when you act, do not explain, do not justify, do not beg. Strike. Win. Move on. That is the only language the world understands. That is the only currency power respects. The battlefield is already mapped. You know it. You feel it. You see the lines of power. Even if you pretend not to, you notice the hierarchy in every room. Who commands? Who submits? Who speaks? Who stays silent? Who drains? Who builds? You feel these dynamics instinctively. That is your genius. But genius without execution is nothing but a curse. You walk among pawns while knowing you are not one of them. Yet you act as if you are. That contradiction tears you apart. Society fears you because you carry a truth that could shatter its illusions. Effort is not everything. Force is not everything. Numbers are not everything. The single decisive act of a strategist can outweigh the labor of 10,000 slaves. This is the truth Machiavelli saw when he studied princes and kingdoms. The throne is not held by the hardest worker. It is held by the one who moves when others hesitate, who deceives when others play fair, who strikes when others sleep. You are built for that role, but you refuse it. Stop hiding behind your intellect. Stop clinging to the comfort of being different. You are not different if you do not act. You are not a threat if you remain still. You are just another wasted soldier, another forgotten name, another statistic in the graveyard of unrealized potential. And that is the harshest reality. The world does not mourn wasted genius. It does not even notice. The graveyards are full of men and women who thought they were too clever for the herd but never dared to lead. Do you want to join them? You must choose. Not tomorrow. Now. The war does not pause for your hesitation. Every day you hesitate. Someone else sharpens their blade. Every day you retreat. Someone else advances. Power does not wait. Influence does not wait. And the world does not wait for you to decide whether you are serious about commanding your life. This is where your laziness must transform. Not into endless activity, not into reckless motion, but into cold, ruthless efficiency. You must begin to operate like a general commanding scarce troops. Every soldier your time, your focus, your energy must be accounted for. Every maneuver must serve the campaign. No wasted battles, no indulgent retreats, no illusions of peace. Only war until you win, and you will not be loved for this. You will not be celebrated. You will not be embraced. You will be feared, resented, whispered about. That is the cost of power, and you must pay it willingly. Machiavelli knew, the prince who seeks to be loved is destroyed. The prince who accepts being feared secures his throne. Stop craving approval. Stop needing validation. Stop waiting for applause. Power requires solitude. It requires coldness. It requires the willingness to be hated. Can you bear that? Or will you crawl back into the comfort of being harmless? Here is the final truth. You are already feared. Not because of what you have done, but because of what you could do. The herd senses it. They see the way you resist their rituals. They feel your refusal to grind like them. They know you are not fully one of them, and that terrifies them. They attack you not because you are weak, but because they sense your potential. You are the wolf hiding in sheep's clothing, and they are desperate to keep you believing you are a sheep. But the day you awaken, the battlefield changes. The supply lines shift. The morale of the herd collapses. The rulers scramble to suppress what cannot be contained. On a lazy genius, undisciplined, can undo the entire architecture of obedience. That is why they fear you. That is why they shame you. That is why they want you to keep sleeping. And now you must decide. Will you betray yourself by staying idle? Will you waste your brilliance in distraction and excuses? Or will you rise, ruthless and disciplined, and seize the power you were built to command? The choice is final. There is no middle ground. Do not look for mercy here. You will find none. Do not look for sympathy. It will not be given. Look only at the battlefield before you. Look at the weapon in your hand. Look at the fortress walls you have yet to scale. The war is real. The war is now. And you are either commander or casualty. So strike, not with wasted fury, not with blind effort, but with surgical precision. Choose your target. Commit your energy. Break the illusions. Command yourself as you would command an army. And when they call you ruthless, smile. When they call you cold, nod. When they call you feared, know you have finally become who you were meant to be. Society fears the lazy genius because it knows the truth you are about to embrace. Efficiency is power. Discipline is liberation. And one cold mind can overturn an empire. That mind is yours. If you choose it, so choose.